You guys believe yourselves to be one international airport short of a world-class city.
I was riding my bike, and I hit a bear.
Are you serious?
Would you like to see my vagina?
And that's when things got a little weird. When you grow up in a small town in Newfoundland, you see the people have a sense of humor about hard times.
Check.
I turned that into a career and hit the road.
Mr. Johnny Harris!
Now I'm on a mission to find the funny in the places you'd least expect it. Canada's struggling small towns. Towns that are against the ropes, but hanging in there. Still laughing in the face of adversity. Welcome to... Look up, way up into northern Ontario. There's a little town called Wawa. It's the last stop between where you left and everywhere you want to be. I was driving up here. The sun was starting to go down. My fuel gauge was starting to go down. My knuckles were going white on the wheel. I had just seen a bear that I swear to God smiled at me. I was fearing for my life when finally I saw him like a vision, like an angel with outstretched wings. Big, feathery iron wings. I saw the goose. I knew I had made it. I was in Wawa.
You know you're from Wawa when you call yourself a honker.
I cannot do a goose impression. Excellent.
So many people get photographed with the goose. I can only imagine if it was low enough that people could pretend they were humping it. Then people taking selfies trying to hump the goose. Hashtag duck face goose hump.
This goose has a little bit of wear showing.
Got to talk to Brenda Grunt here. Yes, she was explaining to me the plight of the goose.
The thought is that maybe she'll lose her wings, and we need to replace her. But that's a lot of money.
How much is it going to cost?
Oh, $500,000.
$500,000?
$500,000? I'll get up there with some Bondo and a spray paint can for $350,000. Save you a few bucks right there.
I can be seen sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning covering something happening someplace.
Yeah.
Brenda owns and operates Wawa's #1 24-hour news team.
So if something happens in the middle of the night, surely you don't have your police scanner on next to the bed all night or anything?
Most times I do.
Oh, really? That's commitment.
Keep in mind, it is Wawa's only 24-hour news team. And the team is Brenda. And her husband, Marcus, he knows that Brenda's always out driving around with the police scanner on.
I hear far more than I want to ever hear. It's
How do you mean?
Days of Our Lives, you know, it's a soap opera, right?
Oh, really?
You know,
So if he can't get in touch with her on the cell phone, he'll call the cops. Right? He'll say, "Officer, I want to report a Brenda pick up eggs." Massive closures in mining and forestry over the last few decades have made for a long stretch of bleak headlines for Brenda.
But this is a story of our times. It's hard. The claim started in '96 when the iron mine closed.
And that, of course, caused peripheral businesses to close. The Big Bird.
So the restaurant closes. You lose your cook staff, you lose your wait staff. Now the ripple effect is that your suppliers are gone.
Yeah.
Now you have your kids that used to come back from college and work in the summertime, working in the bars, good tips. Now they work out of town forever. Do they come back?
The Big Bird was like Wawa, an essential stop in a longer journey.
It was quite the rocking place in its time.
Yeah.
People leave the Lakeview, they're just passing the United Church, and they think, "Oh, God, I'm sobering up. I'm sobering up. Oh, the Big Bird, it's open, thank God. I'll have 8 slippery nipples, please, bartender, thank you."
Where else could you live and come down at 11 o'clock at night and see the Northern Lights dancing over the hill in your pajamas?
It's a great place to be unless you're a hitchhiker.
Tits up on the streets of Wawa.
So I've heard that expression before, tits
Yeah.
up in Wawa.
Yeah.
But of course, it's difficult to hitchhike out of Wawa because people know if you pick somebody up at Wawa, you know you're stuck with them for the next 5 hours.
3 hours from the Sioux and 6 hours from Thunder Bay.
Yeah.
What if he's crazy? What if you pick someone up 20 minutes in, he's telling you about how he hates cops and hears voices? You're doing the math. Okay, Thunder Bay, another 460 kilometers. Oh, God, oh, God. I couldn't have picked a better time to be here. It's a very exciting time in Wawa. Is there any Mishpocotton High School grads here? And hats off to Principal Peter Kuzik.
This is a very important graduation. As we know, every group is different and special. This year is both. It's my son Dushan's graduating year.
Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts.
It should be a celebration for the kids, you know. You're sending them out into the world.
There was a sense of belonging when you entered MHS 4 years ago. There will also be a force that will draw you back into these halls.
You're saying, kids, we've prepared you as much as we can. Now you have to go.
Grads, you will miss you. Sorry about that.
You have to go down to the highway and start hitchhiking before your classmates come down. Because it's hard to get a ride. It's really difficult to get a ride out of here.
So you and the missus were both teaching in Toronto.
Yes.
What brought you back to Wawa?
I'd lost my father a couple years earlier, so I thought, boy, there's more to life than the rat race of, you know, driving everywhere in Toronto, and I wanted my kids to grow up in Wawa.
And Dusha, if you're going to study mining, then I guess that would allow you to come back to Wawa.
Yeah, that's the main reason I picked it, is because I wanted to come back to the north. Wawa's so small, you don't see much. Like, I'm excited to see what else is in the world.
Dusha, are you going to miss it?
I think, yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss it.
What did you do to get rid of the beavers? Did you give them
Shotgun, rifle, traps, dynamite.
dynamite?
Now, a lot of my friends in Toronto don't even know where Wawa is, although Torontonians are not always great with geography. I mean, I was trying to explain to one of my buddies where Wawa is, and he actually said to me, "Who the hell is Sault Ste. Marie?" I went to visit Anita at Young's General Store.
The sort of design and feel of the whole place is sort of like an old trading post. Now, do you accept pelts as currency?
I think Anita knows that people who come to her store have just driven through a huge amount of nothingness and are about to drive through another good chunk of nothingness. So, of course, when they're in her store, they're looking around like, oh, God, what could we possibly need?
What are the big sellers?
Moccasins.
Moccasins, yes. I won't have another chance to get moccasins till I get to Thunder Bay. Kids, pick out moccasins. And I love that good old rural rebranding, right? I might not be in the mood for some chocolate-covered raisins, but a little bag of beaver droppings? Yes, please.
Well, we found this about a year ago and didn't buy it.
So how many hundreds of kilometers did you come to find this T-shirt?
Don't know.
Oh, no, Indiana.
From Indiana. It's all fun and games until someone loses a wiener. That's pretty good. Where are you guys from?
Ohio.
Ohio.
I love moose, so I have to try
Yeah.
the droppings.
No wonder Americans have that zany stereotype about Canadians. You know what I'm talking about, right? Moose, maple syrup, and wilderness. I don't blame Americans anymore. I blame Wawa. What I'm saying is Anita has helped package her way into tourists' hearts and has helped turn Wawa from a pee break into a memory. Also out front, there is a transgendered moose.
People have called it Henrietta. Like, he, she, I guess.
A transgender moose.
I guess
That's
so.
brilliant.
When you determine the gender of a moose, there's a little giveaway right on top of his head.
Henry doesn't really have any...
No.
Ah.
Also at the back, there are some subtle differences. One of the best stories I've heard in Wawa is when Henrietta was confiscated. The Ministry of Natural Resources heard that it was poached or something.
The banks, the stores, everywhere posted this in their windows.
Is that right?
It was pretty special.
Campaign to get Henrietta back.
Exactly.
It got nationwide media attention. It was brought up in Parliament.
I couldn't have paid for advertising like that.
And finally, one day, the moose was returned. They found out it was a transgender moose and didn't want to be on the hook for a hate crime. I think that's what... For those who have managed to carve out their place here in Wawa, there's no shortage of reasons to stay. You know, since I got here, I'd seen all these wooden carvings all over town. I wanted to find out more about it. Now, at first, I was nervous, because when someone tells you you have to go to the motel to meet a third-degree black belt named Spike...
Come on in. Come on through my closet here.
But Spike couldn't be a nicer guy.
What do you call these creations?
Gitchigumis.
Gitchigumis.
Yeah. Gitchigumi means all-powerful water. That's an Ojibwe term.
Yeah?
Spike, when he was a younger man, moved away for a little while and moved back so that he could be closer to the lake.
The lake was talking to me and let's say directing me, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. This one is a bit more menacing over here, this skull.
That's the lake kind of screaming at me, really.
Spike told me that Lake Superior speaks to him. Now, first, I wasn't sure what he was talking about, and I thought, he does live in the motel. Maybe it's the guy in the next room, right? I said, Spike, does the lake ever sound like Law and Order? And Spike made us this chaga tea.
Is it gonna make me feel good?
Yeah.
There I am, sitting, drinking tea made out of mushrooms with a third-degree black belt who carves lake spirits, and that's when things got a little weird. Spike asked me...
Would you like to see my vagina?
At first I thought, okay, Wawa, this transgender thing has gone too far. It's gone too far. It's from like a chunk of a tree. It's massive, and it's a vagina. It's a big vagina. I sort of wilted at the sight of this thing.
It's where we all started, where we all began our journey here, right?
Hundreds of years from now, future civilizations will come back and they will see Spike's carvings and they will think, how much hash oil did they have in Wawa? There's a lot of great history about the town of Wawa. It was founded on fur trading. In fact, the Hudson Bay Company had their headquarters here from 1827 up until 1987. How many places can say that their business was open from before Canada was even a country up until the dawn of hair metal?
George, please don't chop me up and feed me to the beavers.
Beaver doesn't eat people.
I also got to go down by the river and hang out with George Karasek.
What did you do to get rid of the beavers? Did you give them
Shotgun, rifle, traps, dynamite.
dynamite?
George used to work for the railway, blowing up beaver dams with dynamite. Didn't we all?
Beaver can put a railroad out of the business overnight, and then nothing will stop it. I used to carry detonators around my neck. Yeah, they told me I was like Rambo.
It would look pretty badass.
It does.
But George was so good at it, he earned the nickname Beaver Man. Now, guys, I know we all like to think of ourselves as being a Beaver Man, but George is the real deal.
Oh, bingo.
But it's tough times now for George and lots of other trappers like him because the railway now, the government won't subsidize the railway, so they're no longer taking passenger cars up north.
So how will people get to their cottages?
They cannot.
So what, they'll just have to abandon them, or?
They have to. So that will be end of my trapping.
It's the end of a 400-year tradition. They simply can't get there anymore.
I'm 72. Well, I was not ready to feed the pigeons in a park yet. You know, I thought I still can trap a couple more years.
And not only that, the government has told him that he has to burn his camp to the ground. What a move.
I may have a heart attack when I see my camp burning. And that's true.
Yeah.
I'm pissed off about it. Now, if I'm pissed off, that's no big deal. But George is a dynamite expert. Don't piss him off, I think.
I put together a little beaver dam. Well, and the only explosives I can legally purchase.
George, I say you go out with a bang. Take the last train up there with a bag of dynamite.
I was hoping it would be a bit more... I was hoping the sticks would all...
And blow that camp sky high.
I think it's cute.
Cute?
And if anybody at the railway complains, tell them you saw a beaver in there and they can expect an invoice. $500,000 or a new goose. The Michipicoten High 60th reunion was in full swing, and past grads from far and wide had rejoined the flock. Everyone was feeling rah-rah for Wawa.
I left Wawa for love. And I'm sorry that the mine is closed and that there's a little bit of hardship for these people here.
The all-married hitchhikers? Yeah. The all-married hitchhikers?
I got to have a chat with Sherry Coulter, lovely lady. She was back for the reunion. Yeah, she painted a great picture of Wawa in the 70s. A lot of fun.
There was a lot of Trans Ams, Camaros.
Yeah, I bet.
Around a lot.
Classic. I love it.
A course that she did, I think, is pretty much exclusively unique to Wawa, outdoor survival.
You basically had to, like, survive outside in the elements overnight.
That's wicked.
Hey, how'd you do in outdoor survival last semester? Well, I'm here talking to you, aren't I? Yeah, you hear about Billy Tompkins? He got an F. God rest his soul. Oh, God. But by far, the greatest story that Sherry had to tell me was one night she was riding her 10-speed home.
It was a spectacular night. So I'm looking up at the sky and enjoying the show. And the next thing you know, boom, right over my handlebars.
Went arse over kettle down the street.
Like twisted around, and there's the headlamp pointing back at these two beady little eyes. I hit a baby bear.
Are you serious?
She wasn't hurt too bad, which is good. Neither was the bear.
I had road rash a little bit, but I got on my bike so fast.
In fact, Sherry said the most awkward thing about the whole ordeal was exchanging insurance. Right? She went up to the bear and said, I'm with the Mutual of Omaha. So the bear said,
In my heart, this place will always be home. It's where I came of age, and you never forget the raw beauty of the country and obviously the people. They're the heart of this place.
You know you're from Wawa when you can dive into Lake Superior and drink the water.
You stop on the road when you see a friend and just talk to them.
I went over to the school and had a chat with Nathan Halloran, everybody. What a great kid. And Nathan really impressed upon me how all you guys really encouraged his playing at the town. He says the town was very supportive.
I'm always getting praise from everyone. Oh, I saw your performance the other day. It was fantastic. It's really uplifting. In the last few years, I was always just a little depressed, and I didn't really have a way of dealing with it at all. Once I started getting more into piano, I would learn a song for fun, and that would immediately make me feel better.
He's leaving you guys for a little while now. He's going to go away to university to study music. And who knows, Nathan, by the time you get back, there might be a spot opening up in the Wawa Philharmonic.
Living in a small town, you really connect with things. You're able to focus more on the beauty of the world instead of just everything being so go, 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 go.
It's not often that you look to a high schooler for wisdom, but he sort of articulated a notion that I had about people from Wawa that I was having trouble sort of putting my finger on.
It's just that Wawa joy we have. And
Wawa joy?
Yeah, it seems like everyone has that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's really creepy how happy we are all the time. I love Wawa. I think it's right up there with some of the greats.
I thought, yeah, that's it. Well, one of the T-shirts down at Anita's store, it says, New York, Paris, London, Wawa. I think it's more than a joke. It's sort of an attitude, right? You guys put yourself in that class. I think you guys believe yourselves to be one international airport short of a world-class city. You guys fought for your transgender moose. You're fighting for your rusty goose. You guys feed and shelter stray hitchhikers. You could throw up your hands and give up on Wawa, but well, why would you ever want to? You know, just before I came over to the Polish Hall this evening, my mom gave me a ring at the hotel. She said, you know, how's it going in Wawa? I said, oh, you know, Mom, I learned a lesson with the beaver, man. Got my gitchy goomied, went to see the goose, and kissed a transgendered moose. She said, Jonathan, what are you talking about? I said, Mom, I'm talking about Wawa, Ontario. Thanks so much, everybody.
I come here every summer. Wawa is the place to be, guys.
It's a love letter to my hometown. It's beautiful, you know?
Dynamite was my history, but nobody knew about it, but now everybody will know about it.
And in that short time to write up what he did about the town and some of us in it, you know, it was just fantastic.
Is he going to come back and do another show? I can't wait to see a recap.
I think everyone should come visit it at least once.
Oh, yeah, or more. Definitely more.